Welcome to episode 18 of the Game Caddie tutorials. I'm Scott Moeller. In this video, I want to talk about some of the additional rules for Birthplace. In episode 16, I covered Birthplace's whole wind charts and how to use the Game Caddie to make use of those charts. And I've also recorded a couple of videos over on the Game Caddie Play channel, where I have Justin Rose playing 18 holes at Birthplace. But in those videos, it doesn't happen that he ends up in either deep bunkers or wind bushes. And so I thought it might be helpful to have an actual tutorial on what you do if you're in that kind of a situation. So let's talk about wind bushes first. And rather than trying to, hit a shot that actually goes into a wind bush, I'm going to use a Game Caddie cheat here, and I'm going to use the place ball at location tool to put the ball at hole 2 at the 250-yard mark, right 55. So if you look at your screen, you can see that that's where the blue marker is, and it's in an area that on other courses would probably look like trees, but Birthplace doesn't have any trees. Those little green circles that you see are actually wind bushes, and those are nasty things to hit into, and you want to try to avoid them at all costs. So we got Justin Rose in the wind bush. So the first thing that we need to do is when it asks you to record the lie, is you want to come down here and you want to select trees stymied. All right, and then we'll record that as our lie. And then the next thing that you do when you get into a wind bush is you simply roll the APBA dice. And the Game Caddie has a built-in dice roller that you can use, which is a hotkey combination of Control-D. And once you bring it up, it automatically does the roll for you. So I'll go ahead and do that. So our dice roll is a 12 here. Now, according to the rules, a roll of 11 to 22 is an unplayable lie or lost ball. And I'm going to treat it as an unplayable lie. What you would do for a lost ball is re-hit from the point of origin. I don't think that's what the intent is for Birthplace. I think you're meant to play it as an unplayable lie, and that's based on instructions that follow. Okay, so an unplayable lie, what you do is you move the ball to the nearest point away from the bush, but never forward, and you count a penalty stroke. So the nearest point away that's not forward, I suppose, you could have your choice of whether you want to go this way or that way. And, I would prefer to be in the intermediate rough than in the rough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relocate that ball when I drop it to 250 right 50 instead of right 55. So let me close this. We got to count the penalty stroke. So the easiest way to do this is to go over here into the notes and just manually edit over the trees stymied. So we'll put a PE in there. That's the code for penalty stroke. And if you want to, you can come over here and write wind bush to remind you why that was a penalty stroke. And now we need to drop the ball, and we will use the place ball at location tool to do that. And as I said, I want to put it at 250 right 50 and click place ball. And now when it asks us for a lie, what I would select is intermediate rough. Right. Now, you may have wondered, well, why did you want me to indicate that the lie was tree stymied when we didn't actually do anything with that? Well, that was simply a function of the dice roll that we had, right? So let me go back. I'm going to erase oh, shot 2 here. So we'll get rid of that altogether. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and put this back as tree stymied. Right? So essentially this is a situation that we had before I did that APBA dice roll. And let's suppose now when I roll the dice the next time, and I'll do this, but who knows what's going to come up. Yeah, okay, so I get a dice roll of 35. So that's a higher number than 22. So we don't have an unplayable lie. What we have to do, though, in this situation is we have to, I'm going to put the ball marker back where it was. We have to hit back towards the center line. So we have to play it safe in order to do that. And that's why this needs to be tree stymied, because when we play it safe, we're going to be using, in essence, the tree stymied board in order to do that. And the game caddy needs to know that that's the lie in order to use that board. So we would come over here to the play safe tool. It is a matter of interpretation as to whether when it says player must play safe back to the center line using the tree lie chart stymied. It's a matter of interpretation whether that means you have to hit and use the distance you are away from the center line as your play safe value, or you just have to hit in the direction of the center line. Now, in this particular example, it would certainly depend on where the pin location was, because from a strategy standpoint, if the pin location is on the left side of the center line, say, then we would want to hit back short of the center line in order to then have a good angle on the next shot, and then vice versa. But I do know that some people have a more rigid interpretation of this rule, and they don't allow themselves any freedom to strategize in that way, and they interpret it as, okay, no, I must hit back to the center line. And that's a pretty literal interpretation of that rule, but I don't know what was intended when that rule was written. But in any case, here's what you do. You click on the Play Safe button and put whatever number it is that you want to put in there, and I'll just put in 50, okay? And then you would click Take the Shot. Notice that it defaults that it's going to be hitting towards the center line here. We'll take the shot, and in this case, we went 10 yards short of what our call distance was, and that automatically is registered as our new ball location up here as 250 right 15. And I'm trying to figure out why that is 15 and not right 10. Oh, I know why. Because I'm 55 yards from the center line down here. I was remembering it as if I was just 50 yards out. Okay. So then you would go ahead then and update that shot, and we would be in the fairway. Okay. So if you look at this course where we are positioned down, you'll notice that in addition to the wind bushes down there at the bottom or on the right of the fairway, you've got some fairway bunkers there that are white, and those are just played the way that you'd play any fairway bunker in APBA. Nothing special about them. And Birthplace is by no means the only APBA course that has deep bunkers, but the rules will differ for each course in terms of how you play those deep bunkers. So by a deep bunker, this is what I'm referring to here, and this one is more than 100 yards out from our pin location, so we would consider that to be a deep bunker, a fairway bunker as well. So let me go ahead and put the ball marker there. So I'm going to just manually move it here, and we'll put it at what looks to be 305, left 25. So again, I'm going to use a little cheat here with the place ball tool rather than try to actually hit it into that spot. All right. And what we're going to do is that we're going to call this just a regular old fairway bunker, but we're going to play it a little bit differently than that. Okay, now we have an option here. We can play it safe, or we can play it aggressive. Now, if you play it safe, all you do is roll one die and move the ball that number of squares away from the brown lip of the bunker. So you can sort of see that crescent moon that is below and to the right of where the ball marker is. That is that brown area. Okay, so if we were to play it safe in this situation, we're not going to use the play safe tool. All we're going to do is, again, call up the dice roller, Control D, roll it. It automatically rolls one die for us here. And so we would move one square away from that brown lip. Now, in this case, it's arguable whether or not we even got out of the bunker. But you could, because it seems to be on the line there. And if I were playing, I would say, okay, if I'm on the line, I get to pick, whether what my lie is. And so I would, obviously choose that I was in the fairway so that I would have a better next shot. So we'll go ahead and close that. So that's what you do when you're playing safe from a deep bunker. And that works the same whether you're in a fairway bunker or you're in a greenside bunker. So we'll close the dice roller, and I'm just going to put this back here again for the time being. Now, if I decide to play aggressive, then, by default, I'm not going to be, the rules don't say this explicitly, but by interpretation, the implication is that you can't use more than a 5-iron from any deep bunker. Now, in this case, that wouldn't be a problem because we're, probably 150 yards from a pin location, so a 5-iron would be plenty of club. But the point being is that when you play aggressive, you use the player's eye column to determine the shot result. So if we're using Justin Rose, and I've got this set up to play to pin 2, he's 155 yards out, fairway bunker. I come over here. We'll do the all-in-one menu. I'm skipping any wind roll. Let's just assume that we have no wind on this shot. And in his car, he has an average eye of 3. Come down here and look and say, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and use an 8-iron for this shot. That's 155 yards. So select my club, take the shot. We'll roll the dice here. A 25. And a 25 in the eye column for Justin is a 3. So he's hit a good shot from this fairway bunker, and it would just play as you normally would play any fairway bunker, okay? And the reason for that is that you only get in trouble in a deep bunker that's a fairway bunker when your PRN result is 25 to 35. Any other numbers are played normally from the fairway bunker. Now, the situation is a little bit different when you're in a greenside bunker. So let me slide this down a little bit so you can see that this hole also has greenside bunkers, right? So if we were in a greenside bunker, which is within 100 yards of the pin, then you're hitting from the A column, of course, because you're using an approach club. And then if you get a number that's between 13 and 23, a PRN result that's between 13 and 23, when you're playing aggressively, okay, then you run into trouble. But any other number, okay, in the A column is, again, played just like you would any other greenside bunker in APBA. All right, so let's talk about what happens when you get into trouble. In other words, when you get a number between 13 and 23 for a greenside trap, or you get a PRN number of 25 to 35 for a fairway bunker. Okay, so in that case, all right, you basically, your ball doesn't go anywhere. All right, you've perhaps hit the ball, but it didn't clear the bunker. And you've seen St. Andrews either live or on television. You know how deep some of those pot bunkers can be, and you can certainly imagine how that could happen, where you just can't get out trying to hit over the lip of those bunkers. So you got to take some other measure here. Again, we could have played safe, but in this case we were playing aggressive and we didn't. Okay, so you need to record the shot that didn't get you out. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this out, and we'll pretend that we're back here at this bunker here, because that's what I've got already set up in here. So we need to record the shot. So let me go ahead and call this up, and I'm going to change this number to some other value. Okay. Let me change it to let's see. Let's make it a 20. Let's see. Let's make the result 26. Okay, and that would be in the I column since it's a fairway bunker. We'll take the shot. All right. So that shot, goes some distance, right? At least in terms of what the game caddy thinks. But now we've got to override that. So we need to record this shot in some way, but we don't want to record this as being the distance. We want to put the ball, back where it was. So I'm just going to close the all-in-one menu, and I'm going to look down here and say, okay, that ball was hit from 305, left 25. So those are the numbers that I'm going to stick in there. All right, and we'll click place ball, and we're still in that fairway bunker. It's not a penalty, okay? It's just a muffed shot. So we would record that, and that would count the stroke. And you'll notice now that we have two shots that are essentially with the same lie. And again, if this was a greenside trap, you would do the same thing up to that point. Now, if you're in a greenside bunker, though, you would do one thing differently. Okay, for your next shot, you would have to consider this lie as being under the lip. And so instead of recording it as a fairway bunker, you would actually record it as a U. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let me just erase this shot. All right. So this time what I'm going to do, just imagine that this is a greenside bunker rather than a fairway bunker. It's not, but this is just for illustration purposes. 305, left 25, click place ball. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and select U for under the lip. Okay. So we're in the same location, but now when we go to play the shot, it's going to play it as under the lip. And that uses, a different set of boards or columns, if you want to think of it that way. Okay. I hope all of that's been helpful for you. It is a little bit complicated. There's one more thing that we need to address, and that is, what if you're on an actual, that brown area we talked about before? So let me go ahead and put the ball at, I think this looks like it's about 415 left 30. And I don't know if I can zoom in more so you can see this or not. Let me try to do that. All right. So I don't know how clear that is, but what I'm essentially doing is saying that the ball's not only in the deep bunker, but it's actually on the brown lip of a deep bunker. So I will come over here and just, use the cheat tool or the place ball location tool to put it at 415 left 30. And at this point, you can just go ahead and call it, a greenside bunker, which in the game caddy is referred to as a sand trap. Okay, and record it, because when you're on the brown lip of a deep bunker, then the ball must be played safe, and you have to hit straight away from the lip. So if we go back to doing what you did before, you'd roll one die or hit Control D. And then in this case, we'd be hitting from the brown lip right back into the deep bunker. So you can, because we got a 1, and you would then move 1 square away from that brown lip. So you can see why you don't want to ever end up in deep bunkers, and you don't want to end up in Whin bushes. They can really run up your score if you roll dice the way that I did in this tutorial. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoy playing Birthplace. If you haven't played it or you don't own it, go get it. It really is a fun course to play, despite some of the trouble that you can get yourself into. I will say that it is, you really have bad luck if you end up in deep bunkers or Whin bushes playing Birthplace, because if you play conservatively, there's lots of ways to avoid them, with perhaps the exception of a couple of holes there. So it's not something that will be a problem, every time you tee off or every time you try to put the ball close to the pin. Until next time, grip it and rip it.